This was the year I was supposed to hit 6 figures in my business. I was kind of banking on it, in fact. I quit my day job and everything. But if the title of this video couldn't be any more clear, I didn't hit my target. So what went wrong? Did I just get a little cocky in my goal setting? Was I being delusional? Well, in today's video, we are going to talk about why I fell short as we do a 2022 recap. Because I really think we need to look at the whole year to get the big picture of what happened. If you've watched my mid-year update, you will know that I was already trailing behind my goal at the midway point of this year. And you'll know a bit about what pulled me off course. But in this video, we'll be digging deeper into the reasons why I didn't hit my income goal for the year, as well as revising my strategy and setting new, more realistic goals so that I can hit my number next year. But first, why am I so hung up on 6 figures? In 2020, I made $10,000 as a content creator, influencer, blogger. Then in 2021, I jumped to just under 70,000. So 100K just seemed like a natural progression for 2022. But I ended the year with just under 75K, which is 3/4 of my goal and only about 5K more than last year. And of course, I want to say that I am definitely grateful for this income. It's kept a roof over our head, it's fed us, it's paid bills, and has even allowed me to take some business trips without having to overthink every single expense. But as I said, I quit my day job this year, so I have technically lost income because I went from making money from 2 jobs to 1. The overarching reason why I didn't hit 100K this year, or hit any of my goals for that matter, is that I just had too much going on. I actually think that my catchphrase for this year was, next month when things calm down, I will have time to blank. Insert hang out with you, catch up on content, relax. But the next month always would bring new surprises and things never calmed down. When I set my income goal for this year, I set a lot of little goals that were meant to be a roadmap for success. These goals and their according benefit or strategy are as follows. 30 blog posts on Comfy Girl Curls. Creating with Kea actually didn't exist at this point. And this was meant to help increase my ad revenue and affiliate income. 25 YouTube videos on Comfy Girl with Curls, 50 YouTube videos on this channel, Creating with Kea, both of which I was hoping to achieve monetization status by the end of the year. Yeah, I know, a really bold goal. I also wanted to pitch brands. I've been pretty fortunate that up to this point, I have not had to pitch to make a living as a content creator. All of my brand deals have been inbound, which if you need a strategy for, I definitely recommend checking out this video. Pitching is really the best way to take control of your business and not have to rely on people reaching out to you. Then I wanted to build up and diversify my income streams. I didn't want to have to lean so hard on brand deals. I wanted to collaborate with fellow creators in the hopes of boosting my visibility to get in front of new audiences and brands. And finally, I wanted to be more organized. When things are chaotic, I find it really easy to get paralyzed and not create, not answer emails. And when I'm in that state, opportunities are obviously missed. And looking back at all of those goals, this is how we fared. Yeah. And to illustrate how I did on diversifying my income this year, this is my revenue breakdown. And I'm actually 100% confident that if I had hit all of those goals, I would have knocked my income goal out of the park. Because by dropping the ball on the volume of content I wanted to create, I missed out on the opportunity to earn great passive income. And I wasn't able to attract as many brand deals. So I didn't get to work with a lot of new brands for 2022. I was actually sustained by continued partnerships with brands I had worked with in 2021. So what happened? First, I transitioned out of my day job, which a lot of people would assume to be a really freeing, liberating process, but it was not. The month leading up to my last day was one of the craziest, most stressful, busy times of my life as I tried to wrap up all the loose ends at work and still try to balance life as a content creator. This is around the time I dropped my consistency in everything. This was in April, which is actually the month that I got the most questions about in my income recap video. Second, I became absolutely paralyzed by comparison, and probably by the fact that I could see myself falling further and further behind my goals. After leaving my day job, I put a lot of weight and expectations on myself for productivity, the lifestyle I was going to lead. I thought that I would wake up early and I would be able to quadruple my content output. And when that turned out not to be the reality, I could just feel the weight of it all closing in on me. And I would literally sit there scrolling through TikTok, seeing people crushing their goals, seeing people being hyper productive, and then progressively getting more upset at myself for not being that. It was a very awful cycle. If you're watching this and you have plans to leave your day job, give yourself a vacation in between. That's something actually that John Hu, the creator of Stand for Creators, had told me right before I quit my day job. He said, make sure you give yourself a vacation. And I just laughed and I was like, did you give yourself a vacation when you transitioned into your business full time? And he's like, no, that's why I'm telling you this. And I honestly wish I had taken his advice because I think I just needed to decompress. And finally, when I look back on it, I had a lot of incredible experiences that kept me unbelievably busy and pulled my focus from all of my content creating goals. I've already talked about how I went to New York City in April and VidCon in June. VidCon, especially because I was speaking, just took up so much prep work that I'm actually surprised I was able to do anything else. Then after VidCon, we got back into town and I sat down and filmed that mid-year recap video, where I sat and talked about everything I've kind of covered already, that I was really busy, that leaving my day job was tough, but I had this renewed hope that I now had the rest of the year ahead of me. I was now a free agent. Past Kea was so hopeful. She had so much faith in me. But if there's anything that I'm learning from this content creator life is that there's only so much you can plan ahead for. You can have these ideas of the perfect content schedule, these bold ideas about consistency, but the more you grow, the more opportunities you're going to get. And unless you're somebody who has been really diligent and is sitting on a backlog of content that you can schedule out weeks in advance, these random incoming opportunities are bound to throw you off course. I got back from VidCon and was starting to get a bit in my groove, and then I got an email inviting me to join Adobe's VIP Creator Camp, an experience that would give me access to mentors in social media and cinematography and graphics and audio, and an opportunity to try Premiere Pro for free. It's funny because I almost said no to it. I was so focused on getting back on track, hitting my goals. It just seemed like something that would steer me too off course. There was another component to this creator camp too, and that was that at the end of the 6 weeks, I believe, there would be an opportunity to pitch a panel in order to try to get the chance to win a sponsored video from Adobe. This is something that I had zero intention of participating in. There were a lot of talented people in our cohort. I don't know, I didn't want the pressure. But in the end, I got really pumped up. I put together a deck and a pitch, and I won. Go check out my video. I am really proud of it. And in the end of that process, I learned so much and made such great connections that I'm realizing I would have just been so stupid to pass up an opportunity like that. When Adobe tries to open a door for you, you don't close it. So Creator Camp wraps up, I start to get back in the groove, and I get another surprise email. It is somebody from Adobe connecting me with another department in Adobe, asking if I would be interested in joining Adobe Express Ambassadors. This was an instant yes for me, and I actually brought on yet another opportunity, which was to attend Adobe Max in LA. It's just crazy how life works, because I got an ad earlier in the year for Adobe Max and looked at the price tickets and was like, this is a one-day thing for me. I even put it in my Notion board and everything. I have a whole dream list of conferences that I want to attend, put it in there and said one day. And then a few months later, I get to go for free flown there, hotel paid for. Like, I don't have any words. But the irony of all of this amazingness is that I didn't have time to go back to my original goals. I didn't have time to be pitching brands. I didn't have time to catch up on blog posts or film YouTube videos during this time. So I didn't have a bad year by any means. And as I've been looking back and reflecting, I also found another reason why I didn't hit my income goal. And it's kind of obvious in hindsight. I split my focus. I went from being hyper-focused on building a singular brand, Comfy Girl with Curls, for 6 years, coming up on 7 now, to trying to build an entire new foundation for a second brand, this one. This is why people talk about the benefit of niching or being hyper-focused on something, because you can put so much of your energy into it and help it grow. This year, I was a little bit all over the place. I would really swing back and forth between what platform I was putting my energy into. And the thing is, with Creating with Kea, it's still so new. I'm actually in my foundation building stage. I'm in year 1. Year 1, 2, and 3 of Comfy Girl Curls, I wasn't making any money. So in going into this past year, I really should have adjusted my goal to account for the fact that I would be doing 2 things at the same time. All of that being said, I do want to speak directly to the content creators who also didn't hit their goal this year. Whether they had a 6-figure goal as well, or a 3-figure one. I don't want you to take this video and look at all of the experiences and say, well, I didn't make money or have those experiences, so my year was a failure. I want you to look at your own year and look at the different things that happened that were unexpected, that made you busy and pulled focus from your goals, and reflect on it and be okay with that. So for next year to hit 6 figures, I realize I need help. My husband Darren is going to be working with me for the next 9 months, taking on tasks that range from administrative duties to helping me rough edit YouTube videos and working on blog posts. This should allow me to focus more on the content creating, the things that require my face in them. I'm also going to use his help to start pitching again. I specifically want to branch out more into travel content as well as tech in the creative space. I'm thinking camera gear, lighting, other tech-related things, keyboards, mice. Then I'm setting slightly more realistic goals in the hopes that I don't get paralyzed by missing them. I think I just need to accept that I'm not motivated by insane big goals. They don't drive me to push harder. They just stress me out. They always make me feel like a failure when I inevitably fall short of them. I'd much rather aim for something lower, more conservative, so that I can feel satisfied when I achieve them. So this year, my goals are as follows. And remember, I'm getting a bit of help too. Comfy Girl with Curls YouTube channel, 30 posts. Creating with Kea YouTube channel, 40 posts. Comfy Girl with Curls blog, 30 posts. Creating with Kea blog, 40 posts. And the key here is that I'm going to start working on clearer content pillars, series, recurring concepts, so that I always have an idea to fall back on. There's nothing worse than feeling like you have to put out a video or a piece of content, but not really knowing where to start with a topic. You may have also noticed that when looking at my 2 brands, I have the same goal for the amount of YouTube videos and blog posts I'm putting on the respective brand. That's because I'm planning to rely heavily on repurposing this year. So if I make a blog, I will be making a YouTube version of it, and vice versa. So there we have it. I'm definitely looking forward to next year, but with more reserved expectations. But one thing is for sure, if you are an aspiring content creator or a current one looking to level up, there is going to be a lot more content coming your way from this channel. I'm off to go work on my content strategy now for 2023, and I'm planning on filming it. When it's posted, I will drop it here. Thank you all for your support, and until next time.